The financial woes of China's largest property developers are rippling through the economy. Lawsuits are piling up, with small businesses and workers are not spared either, as they are now owed hundreds of billions of dollars. Minmin finds out just how big is the scale of this unraveling.
35-year-old Mr. Chen founded his own advertising and events planning company in 2019. A year later, he was elated when China's then top property developer, Evergrande, came knocking on his doors for a business collaboration. He ended up working with Evergrande on 4 projects, providing billboards, publicity materials, and running promotional events for the company.
肯定就是想着能做就做嘛，做生意不可能说有生意往外推嘛。我要求他付款的时候呢，就以各种理由说走流程没钱，各种拖，大概拖了我们差不多拖了1年的时间了。起诉了以后，反正就是我不断的发对方的违约函啊、通知啊、催款通知这些我都发过，电话、微信不断的催，就是各种拖。
CNA has seen the court documents filed by Mr. Chen. He used his own funds for the unpaid projects, amounting to $100,000, and borrowed money from various sources to balance his cash flow and pay suppliers and employees. But when Evergrande defaulted on payment, he too was unable to repay his own debt. He sold his family home and moved to a rented apartment half the size of his original place, and had to downsize his firm by half as well. Though he went to the Evergrande office demanding payment, he and his wife ended up being taken by the police. His isn't a unique story. As a group, suppliers are waiting on at least $390 billion in payment, according to the research firm Gavical Research, and that's a conservative estimate. 27-year-old Mr. Tan, not his real name, was an ex-Evergrande employee.
其实他在暴雷之前就公司内部就有一个政策，就无论是高层、中层、低层都是一般是要求有房任务的。然后当时就要求一个人买1套房，或者是要么就是推荐50个人去看房，这是内部的一个全民营销活动吧，相当于。
Mr. Tan says he bought an apartment from Evergrande, putting in a 20% down payment and taking up a 30-year mortgage. And he claims he's still servicing his loan at a 5% interest rate, which takes up a third of his monthly salary, although the apartment he bought has already lost a fifth of its value.
当时就开始发不起工资了，就开始拖欠了3个月左右的工资。恒大有一个理财产品，当时的话是要求所有员工都是强制存进去的。就比如说基层的员工要求存10万进去，然后中高层可能会更高，1年以后可以兑现。但是当时我们身边有很多员工，就到了1年期就可以取钱的时候，是发现取不了的，就没有钱。
CNA is unable to verify Mr. Tan's claims, but online databases show a long list of court cases filed against Evergrande and its subsidiaries regarding unpaid salaries and breach of contracts. The reversal of fortunes at China's top property developers is threatening to unravel the economy. Companies have pulled back on hiring. Fewer people are buying homes.
China had about 100,000 real estate developers before COVID, around 2019. And now the official figures show that more than 5,000 of the real estate developers have declared bankruptcy. And this process is still going on.
The Chinese government has rolled out a series of stimulus measures, such as lowering mortgage rates and allowing banks to extend loans to developers. But suppliers, subcontractors, material dealers, and agents are complaining of being left behind as the system prioritizes home buyers to get their incomplete homes delivered. The current property crisis was triggered by the government's attempt to reform and deleverage the sector. But now authorities are trying to control the speed of the decline in housing prices. That's because real estate is the backbone of the national economy. It contributes to about 30% of China's GDP, and about 80% of residents' wealth is locked up in real estate. So a sharp drop in prices will lead to a collapse of confidence. Experts say that while government policy has accelerated the contraction of the sector, China's housing market is also undergoing a long-term transition. That's because the country's declining birth rate would mean that it no longer needs so many houses, and it can no longer rely on real estate to fuel growth. So the key, economists say, is to open more investment channels and guide capital to consumption and other industries. Minmin, CNA, Shanghai.